Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment check-in. Afternoon Wood. Wanted to come back in. It was some great sports. Some great sports this past weekend. Very inspiring stuff. So I get into a couple of those topics. Also, great for me personally with some new music, some music that recently came out. Awesome stuff. So I want to get into that. And as a matter of fact, the music that I'm getting ready to talk about, great. It's a great indicator that if you don't like the music that I'm getting ready to talk about, you probably shouldn't check out my channel. Like, I'm not here for everybody. I don't care about appealing to everybody and anybody. I talk about the stuff that I want to talk about, and I'm just looking for the few others in this society or in my community that might have some mutual interest. Other than that, I don't care about none of the, I'm not trying to be the popular dude. So, with that said, if you didn't like this new joint from Eric Roberson, R&B singer, singer-songwriter, it's called Lessons. Phenomenal record. I really love the record. It's old school or traditional R&B. It's a ballad, love song. I know a lot of y'all aren't emotionally set up to deal with love, especially not in public. So again, I love the record. A couple of weeks ago, or a month or so ago, we had a really big record. The Leave the Door Open joint with what is it, Super Soul Sonic or whatever with damn. I can't think of my man's name. I can't think of neither one of them. Why am I drawing a total blank? Anyway, the Leave the Door Open record was really big. It was old school R&B, but it was able to shift over to the Anderson .Paak was one of them. I can't think of the really popular little short dude, but anyway. But that album, I mean, that record was a throwback to the old sound, and it did really well commercially. They were on every video show, and it took off for them. I thought that was dope. This record by Eric Roberson will not receive that type of fanfare and acclaim and whatnot, but it's a dope record. The album that came out that I really like, hip hop. And I'm trying to work out when I'm gonna get my man either on my podcast. He might come on, but I might see if he'll come on and do a live stream. I don't really know if the live stream is gonna add value to his project. Maybe, we'll see. But the name of the project is called All the Brilliant Things. It's from rapper Skyzoo. I've talked about him before. I have at least one interview on here on the channel with him. It's a very dense record. It's a very sophisticated project musically, and then it's in terms of the topics that he's discussing. It works for me. It's not for everybody. I know that. So again, if you don't have any interest in those types of musicians, those types of artists, that type of music, that's a great indicator that you and I don't have anything in common, and keep it moving. But all the things, it's 14 records deep. A lot of jazz infusion. Damn near has a trumpet on every song on there pretty much. A lot of old school elements, old school hip hop elements included. And then it's also, it's a theme to it where Skyzoo is dealing with the gentrification that has happened in Brooklyn, his hometown. He grew up down the street from Biggie Smalls, and he's always paid homage to Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, so on and so forth. And he discusses a lot of different things on this record. You got to sit with it. You got to sit with it and really take it song by song, break it down and understand it. So check that out. Moving on to the sports stuff. Shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo. They went hard on him last week when he was down 0-2 and getting beat by 49 points or whatever. And I just thought it was a great It was inspirational, and it was great. It was great sports. You know, that's why we tune in to watch people do unimaginable stuff against unimaginable odds. And to see him lead the Milwaukee Bucks back to this 2-2 tie with Brooklyn, they got some help. Kyrie went down with the ankle and whatnot, but it's good to see the man figure it out and fight back. Like I said, they were ready to throw dirt on the man's name and bury him, and they've done enough to at least make the rest of the series interesting. We don't know what's going on with Kyrie's ankle, and how long he could be out potentially, and how that could impact the rest of the series. But we got a series. Another thing that people forget, man, you know, I really think the Bucks might have won it last year. I think were it not in that bubble situation, I don't think they were. That wasn't the environment for what the Bucks were, how they were built. I think they were a team that was really rolling last year, would have benefited from the home crowd advantage that they were achieving. And I think for them to go into that bubble situation, that just really didn't work in their favor. You know, I know Jrue Holiday was a key addition. I expected a little bit more of an offensive impact from Tucker in terms of the shooting from the corners and whatnot. That really hadn't happened until to the last game, I think. But and then a quick note here also about the NBA in general. You know, because I saw the foul last night with Jokic against the Cameron Payne cat, and they kicked him out of the game with nearly 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter in the third quarter of a very important game. And I don't know what you really do with some of these flagrant fouls and the hard fouls. Now it's an argument, is the NBA too soft, yada, yada, yada. But what I'm going with is, or what I'm getting at is, when guys don't win these games, they really start attacking the character of a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that's how serious playoff basketball is. So now when it comes to a situation where it's a breakaway, a clear path to a bucket, and you got to go stop that basket from being scored, and you're chasing a guy down, and we all know the goal is to get to the basket. So you know where he's going to go. You get there full speed. There's a lot of contact, big impact, and it's this dangerous situation. But again, the games mean that much. That one basket means the world. So I really don't know how we really expect there to not be that type of effort, and for the health of some players to not be endangered when everything is under such a microscope. Shout out to the guys who give the hard fouls and wrap the guys up. You know, they pat them on the back or something while they have them clinched and say, hey, man, you know, this part of the game. There's no malice in this. But I don't, like I said, you sit there and don't give the right effort and don't do what the critics thought you should have done in a crucial moment, and they're throwing dirt on your name the way that they did Giannis last week. Next topic, Leveon Bell. It's always, especially with black sports fans, it's always player X should do this, tell the team to kiss his ass, do what's best for him, walk out, don't show up, get your money, get the coach fired, go to the best team. It's always all this extreme stuff. I just say a bit of caution here is that not all of these guys can take these bold stances and bounce back from them all the time. And Le'Veon Bell was one of my favorite running backs to watch and one of my favorite stories to watch in the league. And he took his hard stance. And he might have been right. You know, he was like, I do more than just running back. You got to factor in my wide receiver snaps, my snaps in the slot, my production in the passing game. You got to factor all of this in when you pay me, and I want to be paid properly. But he went through the whole route about sitting out a season. And could have come back. He could have come back at the halfway point of the season, and it could have been some kind of compromise. But he went and did things his way and cost himself a whole season. And now, since he's come back, I think he popped back up with the New York Jets. And then last year he spent some time with the Kansas City Chiefs. And now this week he's talking about he would retire versus play for Andy Reid again. It's so messed up. I didn't even realize that his role was minimized as much as it was. He didn't even play in the most important games last year. Didn't even play in the Super Bowl, I don't believe. So what I'm saying is Le'Veon Bell's career was trending up here, and then because he took this money situation and this contractual situation or disagreement in the way that he took it, his career is probably over. I mean, here was a very promising guy, very exciting fighter. And I don't even know if he recouped the money that he cost himself in taking the stance that he took. You know, and now to come out here and criticize Andy Wright, he might be right again. He might be right. But the dude is off of a team. I want to say he's under 30 years old. He might be 30 or 31, but it goes so quickly. But I really just hate to see this talented guy out on the street, basically, as a young man. And I thought it was so much more there for his career. And like I said, it's just very challenging when some of these players take such harsh stances. You can't always make it back from that. So we'll see what's up for Lev Bell. You know, maybe there's an injury out there or something, and he gets a chance. I don't know. I just hate to see it happen. CP3, another great story this weekend. To see them sweep Denver, the Denver Nuggets. CP3 scores 37 points. He's like the oldest guy to do that, or above 36 years old. He's an integral part of this upstart team in the Phoenix Suns. And you love to see it. What's really weird about CP3 for me, and what baffles me, is the fact that he couldn't get it done in LA with the Clippers. I mean, they had an extremely deep team. You know, they had Doc Rivers. Whether you think he's a difference-making coach or whatnot, Rivers has had success. But it just baffled me that all the talent that they had over there. I mean, they had 3 or 4 guys coming off of the bench, at least in one of those years in Los Angeles. But that's just how difficult it is to win in the NBA. It's difficult to get the team chemistry. It's challenging to have the right mix of superstars. It's difficult to have the right coach managing all of that. And then he's also a victim of you had the Golden State Warriors coming to the height of their kind of dynastic run or whatever. So but if we go back to 07-08, CP3 took the the New Orleans Hornets, OKC Hornets, whatever they were. He takes them to a number 2 seed. The team finished 56-26 under Byron Scott, and they were number 2 in the West. And it's just kind of emblematic of the impact that Chris Paul can have on teams. And it looks like with him, coming back into form, bouncing back from this shoulder issue, he might have a legit shot to get into the finals and finally see what he can do there. But he's a good dude, man. I mean, he's a bit of a bulldog on the court. He's a little guy, one of the unsung little guys. Like an Allen Iverson and whatnot. But I'm pulling for the dude, man. When normally I come in around the finals or even just for the finals. So we'll see what happens there. And that's also with the Phoenix Suns. And looking at my Detroit Pistons, man, that's why it's so crucial. Even you see it in Atlanta. It's so crucial when you can draft an elite perimeter player, such as Devin Booker, who's had 81 points now in 2 elimination games, first time to the playoffs. And then you have Trae Young in Atlanta. Like, if you can hit on that 1 or 2, the point guard or your shooting guard, a lot of other stuff can start to fall in place for your team. LB burning bridges. Yeah, man, I don't. What's up, D Branch? I don't know what's going on. I hate to see it. I don't play fantasy football, but dude's game was awesome to watch. Running backs are one of my favorite aspects to watch in the NFL, and I just feel like we lost out on watching, a career continue to flourish. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Back to the to the key of getting you a good perimeter player. You see, with Giannis, you can have you an elite big, but if he doesn't have the right skill set, and it's very rare that a big has that type of skill set, he needs all the pieces around the perimeter to make it work, and it gets all complicated. But if you have your guard, your team can at least start to compete for a good 5-7 year stretch. We see right now things are kind of falling apart in Portland, but that's a different story. It's about the end of my lunch, so that's about really all I had. Again, just a quick note on boxing. I know I was pissed off yesterday in doing my recap, and really frustrated with how some people continue to follow the sport, and that's fine. Again, I just encourage people to find people who talk about boxing the way that you like boxing to be talked about. I talk about a lot of different details when I look at boxing. I'm not just cheerleading one person. But what I'm getting at, though, is something with just like watching the French Open yesterday, which the French Open, I'm not going to lie, that's probably my favorite Grand Slam tennis tournament. I just like the red court, the dynamic that the clay surface brings, the sliding and all of that. I like the French Open. But just watching Novak Djokovic and the Tsitsipas cat, watching the semifinal against Rafa Nadal. Like I said, man, when I'm sitting around on my Saturdays and my Sundays and checking out sports and giving up 2.5, 3 hours of my time, man, I really want to see compelling stuff. I want to see something awesome. And I'm just saying Saturday night was a prime example, man. In boxing, and I understand all the difficulties of boxing. I understand all the challenges of boxing. But it's going to be hard for you to compete, to hold people's attention. And I understand the difficulty in trying to, with the expectation that the best always fights the best. That's really not feasible for a lot of reasons. But again, to watch week in and week out of fights with predetermined outcomes is not healthy for a sport. That shit might work for the WWE. But when it comes to boxing, man, if I'm just pulling in for the A side to win every time, then what's the sense to keep coming back to sit in front of the TV and support it? So, like I said, man, what I saw with Novak, the high stakes against him and Nadal, that effort out there, the back and forth, the ebbs and flows, and the momentum swings and all of that type of stuff. Then to be out there, 9 hours between the semifinal and the coming back from down 0-2 versus Tsitsipas, like that's great stuff to me. Even if you don't watch tennis and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I can't help it that your interests are that limited. Same with the music I was just talking about at the beginning. If you only like some random, the shit that's on the radio, the shit that they tell you that's hot, we really don't have no connection. Like, that's that. Anyway, the end of my lunch. Thanks for the people that checked in. Whoever hit the like button, love that too. If you dig free thought, outside the box thinking, continue to check in with the channel. And that's it. Let me get on out of here. Shout out to you, D Branch. Have a great week. Y'all check out my man Strike 7 Sports. Check out his he has a website with some written articles over there, different sports discussions. Looks like he's added one writer or something, one or two writers. Check him out on Instagram and support small businesses and people out here fighting a good fight. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Peace.